So the OKC Thunder have been a team to watch out for recently because they've been on the rise in terms of winning. The biggest reason for this is because of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's been on a mission this season to not only carry this team to the playoffs, is on around 51, 37, and 91 shooting splits over the season. So very efficient season from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's almost at the 50, 40, 90 club there. So that's great to see. Shai, he's been nothing short of amazing this season, but his high level of play this season takes the cake. As his best season in his young career, I mean, looking at his age, he's only around 24 years old. So, I mean, he fits in with the time frame. Also, guys like Josh Giddey, who's a sophomore, J-Dub, rookie. Chet Holmgren still hasn't played yet, but he's still a rookie. So, I mean, the future for this team is definitely bright. You can already see that. But with a leader like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, that honestly helps the rebuild a lot better. And with a guy that can lead them and a guy in the MVP talks, I mean, having a guy that can just score basically, someone that's going to be able to put the ball in the hoop in crunch time, someone that's going to be clutch, is something that you want to see from your franchise guy. So, yeah, he's been capable of scoring at will some games and while also being able to facilitate the offense. I know sometimes he plays the one, sometimes Josh Giddey plays the one. I think it depends. I can't really tell you because have either of them facilitate the offense. I wouldn't really care which one because, both those guys are pretty capable of running the offense. So, yeah, defensively, he's also been amazing. He's been throwing in a steal and a block per game. Shai, he's basically the perfect example of a guy who's capable of running the team by himself. I mean, having a leader like him, like I said, someone that's going to be having that mentality to get the ball in the hoop and also, basically just holding his teammates accountable. And basically, like, the OKC Thunder have been in playoff contention because of him this season. Over the season, they are at a record of 24 and 25, so that's great to see. And Shai, he's really been a contributing factor to them winning. So, yeah, honestly, this team, like I said, bright future, everything pieces. I think the one thing that this team is missing is another star besides Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because even I can argue that in this league you need more than at least two stars on the team. And with Chet Holmgren being the second overall pick, I mean, I think he's going to be one of the best young centers in the league come maybe 4 or 5 years down the line. We'll see what happens, but I mean, he has a high potential to become a great center in this league, and guys like J-Dub has a pretty high ceiling, and his high impact on his rookie year essentially is definitely something that's great to see in terms of his development. Now, guys like Josh Giddey too, I know he has been off to a pretty rough start this season, but even him, he's had some impact on this team in terms of being able to rebound the ball, someone that's going to be running the offense, facilitate the offense, and at his height, I mean, he's 6'8", 216 pounds, playing the shooting guard / point guard. He's someone to look out for, maybe for the MIP somewhere down the line too. We'll see what happens, but yeah, OKC, like I said, record of 24 and 25, good for the 11th seed. They are basically on the cusp of making the playoffs. They are right behind the Utah Jazz in the West. So, looking at the West, they're definitely capable of making the playoffs or even the play-in. The West is a lot weaker this year. And, looking at some teams overall, I mean, in the play-in, we got teams like Utah, Phoenix, we got Pelicans, we got the Dallas Mavericks. So, OKC, I mean, if you put them up against these four teams, I mean, you can definitely beat out the Jazz, maybe even the Suns without Chris Paul and Devin Booker, because they've been pretty injury-prone. And teams like the Dallas Mavericks, they've been pretty on and off. And pretty much the only team to watch out for here is the Pelicans. But in my opinion, the Thunder can definitely sneak into the 10th seed. So we'll see what happens come playoff time. But this team is definitely a play-in / playoff team, basically on the verge of playoffs. So yeah, now after talking about how great SGA and the OKC Thunder have been lately, I think the question comes up of if he's able to win the MVP this season. I think we're a little over halfway through the NBA season, so that's pretty great to see. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still being one of the higher regarded players in the league at half is still great. But in the league, we have guys like Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, KD, Luka, Tatum. All these guys have been MVP caliber players, but in my opinion, I think Shai is definitely up there with them, and I think it's a matter of him keeping up this high level of play. And if the Thunder can stay relevant enough in terms of winning, I think Shai can definitely win the MVP. I think it's definitely a possibility, and he should be my dark horse pick for the MVP award. I mean, looking at the Thunder, it's definitely a possibility. We'll see what happens. I think he's not better than Embiid or Jokic or Giannis or KD. Maybe better than Tatum. We'll see what happens. I don't know. You guys can let me know what's going to go on with Shai, but yeah, he's definitely my dark horse pick for the MVP award. So, yeah, I don't know. The OKC Thunder, you guys can let me know what you guys think about them. I mean, they're pretty much set for the future. like I said, they are some pieces away from contending. I definitely think they need another star beside Shea, but I mean, I feel like OKC Thunder or the OKC Thunder is definitely a small market team, so it might be a little bit difficult for them to attract some free agents in the offseason. So we'll see what happens. I know the 2023 draft or 2023 free agency class isn't that great. And in terms of the draft, I mean, if OKC misses out on the playoffs again or even the play-in, they should be able to get at least a top 10 pick. So I mean, with this draft, really the only two prospects or top three prospects you want are Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. Those are the top two picks are basically locked in as 1 and 2. 3, Amen Thompson. I mean, you can go either way. There's even Sor Thompson, Nick Smith, Cason Wallace. We got all those guys, Anthony Black. So Brandon Miller too. So yeah, I mean, this draft is definitely filled with some talent, and adding some more young pieces to this roster can definitely be great. But I think this team just needs another guy besides Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to really just set this team forward. And now I'm thinking about it, maybe like a power forward, because, you know, having Shai at the 1, Josh Giddey 2, Dort 3, Chet Holmgren 5, I mean, who's really playing the 4? I mean, I can't really see anyone on this team really playing a huge enough role to play the 4 on this team. I don't know, maybe Jalen Williams. He is 6'6", 195 pounds. It could definitely be a possibility, but having a guy at the 4, maybe a star beside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the 4 can definitely be a possibility. So you guys can, you know, what do you think about the OKC Thunder? I mean, in terms of brightest futures and putting them up against some of the younger teams in the league, in my opinion, I think with the Rockets a little bit better than them because they have Shai. Teams like Orlando, I mean, Orlando probably has the best terms of probably the best terms of a young core. But in terms of having first round picks and having some great young talent, I mean, OKC definitely has to be one of the higher teams up there. So you guys let me know what you guys think about the OKC Thunder. Do you guys think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win the MVP award this season? Do you guys think the OKC Thunder are going to make the playoffs? That's the end, and I'm out.